Hello, Cira. It's good to have you here on the program. I always feel like it's such a privilege to be able to talk to you about issues around the communal process in Venezuela because you have such a wealth of experience seeing things firsthand. And on this episode, we're talking about communal production, the communal economy, kind of getting into the nitty gritty of what it means to build a socialist economy, or at least something that is approaching a socialist economy. So, to begin, I thought I would ask, can you talk to us about the basics of the communal economy and what is its connection to this concept that is so celebrated and defended in Venezuela of a participatory and protagonist democracy? What's the link between that political question and the economic question when we're talking about communes in Venezuela today?
Thank you, José Luis. It's great to be here. First of all, I'd like to say that actually the commune for us is not only the process to reach socialism, but it is also the end goal. Sometimes people interpret the commune as a mechanism to reach socialism, but I would say it's both the process and the end goal in the Bolivarian revolution. And I do have the hypothesis that this goes beyond the Bolivarian revolution, call it however you want to, but communalization of life is in the epicenter of what we consider to be the strategic project when we are talking about socialism. So that's kind of like a preamble. But when we talk about communal economy, I think it's very important to kind of like take or go over some of our basic concepts from the left, right? So in a capitalist market, um, basically the exchange between producers and consumers, producers being generally, of course, the side of production being the working class, and the consumers also being the working class. All this is mediated by the market, by the bourgeoisie. So when we talk about, in terms of value, when we talk about the organization of the economy, we are talking about exchanges in terms of exchange uses in the capitalist market. Now, this means, of course, that when you organize the economy, or when you look at how the capitalist economy is organized, the most important thing that we have to understand is that the production has one simple goal: the accumulation of wealth, and not the satisfaction of people's needs. Now, when you look at a socialist economy, the exchange would happen between use values. The use value is at the center. So it's not about private accumulation, concentration of capital and private accumulation, but it is actually about production in terms of satisfying society's needs. Now, when in our society, when we come to the commune, how does this express itself? That's a big question. No? How does a communal economy actually express itself? Well, I would say that the first thing about a communal economy is precisely linked to what you were saying in the question or your reflection about participative and protagonic democracy. When we talk about reorganizing society in a profoundly democratic way, we are talking about reorganizing society not only in political terms, but also in economic terms. But how do you actually reorganize a society in economic terms? Well, the first thing is that, again, going back to capitalism, the means of production, capital is in the hands of a few, who we call the bourgeoisie or capitalist, and the majority of society has to work to live and has no means of production, is dispossessed of means of production. So that is obviously profoundly undemocratic. Like capitalism is a profoundly undemocratic system, despotic and undemocratic. So when you think about how to build another society, obviously you have to revert this. So who has the means of production in a socialist society? The people who produce the goods, the people who produce the wealth, the people as a whole, like the working class. So the society takes the control of the means of production. However, uh, of course, that's kind of like very broad. So how do, in every context, in every attempt to build a socialist democracy, there have been different exercises or different paths taken. So in the East Bloc, the state was the owner of the means of production. It wasn't direct property of the means of production by the people, but it was mediated by the state. If we come to our proposal, to Chavez's proposal in terms of the commune, I think the main thing here would be to highlight that in our context, the property is communal and social. So if you go to a commune in Venezuela, the communes that have means of production, and I should say here that while Chavez said that the commune is kind of like the fundamental space from which to build socialism, I should also highlight, and he also said that social property of the means of production was fundamental. Not all communes at all have social means of production. That is the goal. But it is a big pending test for many communes that do not have collective means of production or social means of production. In any case, in principle, the way the proposal works is that a commune, that can be, I mean, there's of course rural communes, urban communes. A commune can have between, I don't know, 5,000 to 20,000 people living in it. A commune will have a means of production, and collectively and democratically, it will be decided what you're going to produce, how you're going to produce, and very important, what you are going to do with the surplus. So the people decide all these elements about the production. And this is profoundly democratic. So going back to Chavez's idea of participative and protagonic democracy, we are talking not only about taking decisions about, I don't know, until what time you can have loud music at home, which are things that actually get decided in assemblies, because they are important things to decide collectively, how you are going to live with your neighbors. But you also decide these kinds of things, like the nitty gritty of the production, which is the nitty gritty, but that's super, super important, that basically defines the form in which the society structures itself and its economy. So social property is in the epicenter, and democratic participation in the decision making by the people who directly work in the means of production, but in general by all the people, whole community that is collectively, or that are collectively the owners of the means of production. So basically, we are reverting the metabolism of capital with the commune. The metabolism of capital is authoritarian, is anti-democratic, and the communal metabolism would be democratic, and it will have in its epicenter the life of the people and not the accumulation of wealth.